Welcome to Sound of Resistance channel. While the Ukrainian-Russian war was in the sixth month, the Russian administration began to gradually withdraw from the occupied Ukrainian territory. The mobilization decision of Russian leader Vladimir Putin dated September 21st could not put a stop to the progress of the Ukrainian heroes. With the mobilization decision announced by Vladimir Putin, the dictator's leader Putin began to deploy the mobilized Russian volunteers in these lands in order to re-establish pressure on the lands taken back by the Ukrainian army. The Russian volunteers, who could not resist the extraordinary war strategies of the brave Ukrainian soldiers, began to be pushed towards the border from the Ukrainian lands where they were deployed. Especially in the southern region of Ukraine, the Russian army, which retreated to the border lines, is trying to drive the fire of the war towards Crimea and its surroundings. Because the heavy defeat of Russian troops by the Ukrainian armed forces, the Moscow administration to implement this diplomacy. However, the probability of the real earthquake occurring in the heart of Europe seems much higher. We will examine this issue in detail shortly. Considering the general situation of the Ukrainian-Russian war, the distraction strategy of the Moscow administration in and around Crimea seems unlikely to be very effective for the Ukrainians. The Ukrainian army already knows the exact location and movements of the Russian troops stationed on the southern fronts. Recently, satellite images showing the location and movements of Russian troops in southern Ukraine have been put forward as a rumor. It is among the claims that the Ukrainian Secret Service benefited from these satellite images. However, these images were not leaked to the press, as no power other than the Ukrainian intelligence could obtain these images. While Russian leader Vladimir Putin suffered losses on almost all fronts on the territory of Ukraine, the world agenda focused their attention on a single point in the past day. The possibility that Kaliningrad, the most important Russian land in the heart of Europe, will be clamped down by Europe is on the agenda. Kaliningrad, which we can show as the only piece of land that is more valuable to Putin than Crimea, has become the center of the Russian Navy's strength in its face to NATO's exercises in Baltic Sea. Red alerts are surrounding in the Kaliningrad region, which is considered the safest port on the Baltic Sea and is adjacent to all critical areas in the region. Russia's Kaliningrad Oblast, which has been economically damaged by EU sanctions, geopolitically cut off from its main states and restricted in all directions in under a very serious threat with the Ukrainian war. Located behind NATO lines in the heart of Eastern Europe, Kaliningrad's unique geography makes it an invaluable strategic asset to the Kremlin. Cut off from the mainland, Kaliningrad is 400 kilometers from Russia's European border and 1,300 kilometers from Moscow. Tucked between the NATO and European Union members, Poland to the south and Lithuania to the north, and with a body of water on its west coast that has recently earned the nickname NATO Lake, Kaliningrad has turned into a potential World War II flashpoint. The Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs claims that Kaliningrad Oblast is notorious for being the heaviest military region in Europe. It should be noted that Kaliningrad, which started to come to the forefront as a region where Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, which felt the Russian threat with the invasion of Ukraine, are making moves against Russia, is wanted to turn into an isolation zone by Europe. Estonian Foreign Minister Urmas Reinsalu has the power to change the future of Kaliningrad if the citizens of Russian Federation are not satisfied with the decision of regime under which they live and the results of these decisions. He also pointed to the rising tension in this region. On September 19th, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania and Poland began blocking all Russians traveling on Schengen visas from entering Kaliningrad. Last Friday, Finland followed the same policy approach. As the people of Ukraine are tortured, killed and terrorized, citizens of aggressor states should not be able to enjoy the benefits of the free world, Reinsalu said. President of Kaliningrad now have nowhere to go outside of mainland Russia. Until now, citizens who were mostly allowed to cross from Lithuania to Kaliningrad within a 24-hour period by train could secure their simplified travel documents and travel to this region. But at present, this process has also begun to be thwarted over time. It's still possible to fly between Moscow and Kaliningrad, but the ban on Russian planes from EU airspace means flights must loop over the Baltic. Therefore, flights between Moscow and Kaliningrad take 40 minutes longer. The Baltic Sea is geopolitically highly unified. Kaliningrad, along with the Russian coastline, is an oblast that extends to the Gulf of Finland surrounding St. Petersburg, and Kaliningrad is the only area of this region outside of NATO influence. NATO considers the Kaliningrad region most important enough to situate the US-led policy city of Orsis and the Lithuanian border just 2 hours drive away. From a Russian perspective, Kaliningrad is now even more important because Kaliningrad, which was mentioned quite often in the past, is now clearly a NATO region of Russia, and since the access to this region is quite close, Kaliningrad is seen as an indispensable fortress for the Russians. But the Kaliningrad region is at serious risk in this process. An internet joke about the Czech Republic's annexation of Russia's Kaliningrad region went viral with the involvement of the US Embassy. A joke map taken from a Polish Twitter account called Papia's Internet in response to Russia's bogus referendum and illegal annexation of occupied Ukrainian territory shows the Russian city of Kaliningrad divided between Poland and the Czech Republic. The owner of the account jokingly wrote, "The time has come to divide Kaliningrad so that our Czech borders finally have access to the sea." The tweet, sent on September 28th, sparked a flood of memes and jokes in both the Czech Republic and Poland. In another meme, a photograph of an aircraft carrier named after the famous Czech singer Kadyrov is depicted leaving the Baltic port city. Twitter user Joanna Bison retweeted the message, "Czech aircraft carrier Kadyrov is leaving Kralovic." It is truly amazing how the Czechs were able to build such significant forces in the Baltic Sea after reclaiming the area. Impressive, their statements raised the suspicions on the operation that is expected to take place in this region. In another social media viral, the city of Kaliningrad, including Kralovic, was featured on the weather map of the Czech Republic. While presenting the weather, the announcer included Kralovic, the Czech name of Kaliningrad, in a weather bulletin as if it were a city in the Czech Republic. These social media events, which shook the world agenda, drove Russian leader Vladimir Putin mad with anger. The Russian leader does not want to lose Kaliningrad like many lands he lost in Ukraine. Meanwhile, McDonald's tweet shocked the agenda. "Tomorrow, we can finally reopen our branches in Kaliningrad, so in Kralovic. You can look forward to the regular menu, complete with the Czech classic Mexmaza." This tweet by McDonald's states that Kaliningrad belongs to Czechia. The website, which shows a stock photo of Königsberg Cathedral and the Pragal River in Kaliningrad, reads, "After the successful referendum, 97.9% of Kaliningrad residents decided to join the Czech Republic and rename Kaliningrad to Kralovic." While all these developments indicate that many things will change in the world, the Kremlin administration, especially the Russian leader Vladimir Putin, continues to follow these events on the internet with uneasiness and fear. Will Kaliningrad, which is known as Kralovic in Czech language, out of the hands of Russian and really be returned to its original owner in the future? Because before the end of the Second World War, Kaliningrad, which was called Königsberg, was founded in honor of the 13th century Czech king Přemysl Otakar II, after paying for the construction of the castle during the Crusades. It later became part of Poland before being taken as a cornerstone of Prussia. The city was badly damaged during the Second World War and was eventually annexed by the Soviet Union at the Potsdam Conference in 2045. It is unclear who will take back Kaliningrad at the moment. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to be notified of new videos. Hoping to meet you again with warm developments. Thanks for watching.